A school is a mechanism as delicate and complicated as any master bomb. The bomb is death, the school is life. Each evening it's dismantled, each morning its breath is resumed. This is a new school in a new place in an old city. It is the Waterhall Secondary Modern School in the suburb of Fairwater in Cardiff that pushes out into the Vale of Glamorgan. In the corridors and classrooms will be determined the mind, the heart, the direction of this new community. This sort of school, making so many new departures in intention and technique, will, as time goes by, create a new climate of social health, new forces of equality and happiness. This school does not exist primarily to create specialist geniuses, although there will be some of them too. It exists to create men and women who will know that to see and interpret beauty and delight is as important as to contribute creatively to the society one belongs to. In art classes like these, the eye grows with the mind. A vision trained here will never be able to look upon the world with total boredom again. In this school, a corner must be found for every talent. Girls are luckier than boys in this business of cookery, for there is something consoling about the smell and feel of a kitchen. It wouldn't be a bad idea if this work with ovens, rollers and fillers were shared by the boys. It would enable the two sexes to share responsibility for the world's stock of indigestion, and it would spare women the shame of feeling that their first function is to keep men glutted and dozy. A steady stream of cakes and sandwiches made by willing and eager hands can add a great sweetness to activities that are carried on after normal school hours. But for boys, something louder, dirtier, more dangerous is called for. In the old days, the teaching of handicrafts in schools was very much a hole and corner affair. Any odd little room would do, and equipment little more than would have satisfied a caveman. The ambition of most parents was to give their children a training to fit them for jobs that would not call for manual work. All that has changed. From now on, schools will get more and more dovetailed with the need of industry to replace sweat and grind with skill and imagination. No longer will industry be regarded as a refuge for louts. Fewer and fewer men will go through life rather proud of the fact that they cannot put a screw into wood or plane back into proper use a door that is swollen out of plumb. The proper and peaceful use of a hammer can release a lot of dangerous tensions. The atmosphere of a school with all the concentration, demands, challenges, duels, can become at times oppressive. Towards mid-morning, boys who have, between the sums and sentences, been dreaming of mobility and freedom as spacemen or millionaire playboys, begin to find the desks and discipline tedious. They begin to feel the need of the open prairie. The girls long for a stage on which to reveal their full personality. A schoolyard may not be ideal, but it will do until adult life comes along with something a little more lush. And of course, there is always the milk to strike a note of wholesomeness and health. If you don't feel like a bottle, a friend will, and there will be some who will go back into the classrooms at the end of the break well on their way to becoming pillars of cheese. The heart of a school is its library. Here, the best minds of the world will teach you without impatience, without bullying. It is here that the longest steps towards freedom and delight can be taken. To think, to think, to think in silence, then to utter one's thoughts aloud. That has always been the finest discipline of all. Instruction in ballet in the schools of yesterday would have been thought alarming. The only dancing I ever did at school was as a dancing fairy in some obscure operetta, and it got the fairies a bad name. But now grace and balance, lightness, rhythm are ingredients of the whole experience. If you pirouette for long enough on rigid toes, the odds are that you will not submit to the flat-footed acceptance which has put a pall over so many lives in the past. But feet patiently disciplined will still be applied to pedal, cloth and thread to keep us warm or elegant according to taste. One of the most considerable revolutions of the last 50 years has been the establishment in all schools of the built-in dinner scheme. It has set off more frantic bouts of flatulence and controversy than anything else. In my school-going days, the midday lunch was a tiny package of sandwiches and a penny cup of cocoa. Today, a 2-course hot lunch is the privilege of anyone able to pay 9 or 12 pence a day. For the teachers, the viewpoint is slightly different. One has to love the young with thoughtless dedication to enjoy the sight of them eating in a mass. Many boys and girls, after a long and hungry morning, tend to be sloppy and inaccurate in their eating. So much food lands under the tables, many teachers do not see why the diners should not be served while lying down on the floor. Boys can whip through a pyramid of potato with such zeal, it has been suggested that they be checked for stripes in case they turn out to be undercover men for the Colorado beetle. Their appetite for gravy is huge. Their journey to and from the hatch with an extra jug full of the stuff, endless. The next step to be taken by a helpful city council is the provision of a gravy pump at each table. And with luck, the last pangs of hunger will die in a lagoon of custard. After lunch, the wing of the spirit lifts in the free discipline of the schoolyard. The other wing wilts at the prospect of the afternoon session. There is nothing harder to follow than the games of children. Fears, ecstasies, longings, feuds move like demented fish beneath the surface of their behavior. For a few seconds, they will stand silent, tranquil, passive as horses. Then they will erupt into storms of running and fighting. When that happens and they enter their own special world of excitement, you need the authority of a police chief, the face of Judge Jeffreys, and a voice of beaten brass to remind them that socially they are still subordinate to a pretty iron set of rules. Physical exercise has become more fluid and various. The days of the old static drill of standing in the same place, working your arms and legs like a super tic-tac man are gone. The trampoline and the vaulting horse are the things that teach balance and strengthen nerve, and that is invaluable in a life that specializes in upsetting us and frightening the wits out of us. And teamwork can do more to teach one lessons in practical humility than a whole raft of moralists. Besides, if the players are right, it can, in one of these all-glass modern schools, provide an interesting spectacle for the brooding pupils within. A school is a kind of sieve for dreams. The smaller dreams slip through, get lost and are forgotten. The larger ones remain to grow and fertilize the world, to create new climates of achievement and ambition. In the past, the mind has often tyrannized over the hand, and the hand used to misery and excess has often weakened the mind. We seek a new harmony of mind and hand. Work in wood and metal, drama, music, ballet, play, the basic and beautiful routines of courtesy and considerateness, these make up the heart and nerves of this school. It is not a place that begins to breathe in the morning and stops breathing at the approach of dusk. It is a continuous process of sharing, learning, dreaming that will transform the face of an age, for men and women have a way of walking in the direction of their better dreams. A word or sentence, heard at random in a buzzing schoolroom, can stay in the mind for a lifetime, making its own creative magic, determining new levels of pity, love, and insight. From some schools, we never really go home. A part of us will be there until the end of time. This school disperses. The separate human units will return to the four corners of the new estate. Parents will ask pupils how much they've learned, and pupils will refuse to say. Some will devote more genius to the avoidance of homework than they would to the homework itself. Some will perfect the three-eyed technique of attending simultaneously to a book, the television, and the warning in the parental eye. This school will grow in happiness and versatility with the community it serves. And as the union between school, street, and home grows in strength, we will advance to a civilization much sweeter, much safer than the one we have now.